What is up, everybody? My name is Lagsy and welcome back to another video. So today's going to be my first ever tips and tricks video for GeoGuessr. Now I'm starting a beginner series just for beginner players who want to get into GeoGuessr. So I'll just be running over some basic tips to get you started, and then once I've covered those videos, we'll start doing some more advanced tips, sort of the tips that I'm getting up to nowadays. So I wouldn't say I'm the best player, but I certainly know my way around. But in case you haven't checked out my last video, it was an announcement for the giveaway, which I did 2 days ago on my Twitch channel. Congratulations to Russ Lander1, who won that giveaway. He was in the stream at the time, which was amazing, and he received a 1-year subscription to GeoGuessr. So chuck subscribe, go over to my Twitch channel and give me a follow. I'll be doing more giveaways in the future. I'm not sure when my next one will be, but that will definitely be coming in the future, as I love supporting my community. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into the video. So this video is going to be focused on the countries and the side of the road that they actually drive on. So what we have here is I've got a world map that was blank, and I went into Paint and filled in the countries that are on GeoGuessr. So any country that's shaded in is on GeoGuessr. The countries that are shaded red, they are the ones that drive on the right hand side, and the ones that are shaded blue drive on the left. Now this is probably the main tip I can give anybody who's new to GeoGuessr. Know which side each country drives on. I must say, it's only been the last couple of days where I've really nailed down which side every country drives on. But another thing that's absolutely paramount is that you know which countries can actually be on GeoGuessr. I see so many people who will in my chat guesser, and it's okay. Obviously they don't know exactly, and I don't have anything against it. But to improve, you need to know which countries actually have Street View. So this map covers that all. You'll notice a lot of bare spots, you'll notice some spots that have a lot of coverage. But it really is crucial that you understand which countries do and don't. So I'm going to run through it quickly. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know which countries have coverage and which side of the road they drive on. So let's cover it to start. Now, a basic rule of thumb is the UK and Ireland, they drive on the left. Pretty much any country that was inhabited by them. So for instance, me over here in Australia, we, the United Kingdom sort of inhabited us a couple of hundred years ago. So we drive on the left, same as New Zealand, same as South Africa. So that's sort of a basic rule that you'll notice. Anyway, so running through the countries that are covered, and I'll leave this as a document in the description, so feel free to download it. We have Canada, the US, and Mexico all driving on the right. So you'll notice that in all the Americas, they all drive on the right. So you're not really helped out if you think it's in the Americas, so you're not helped out by which side they're driving on, unfortunately. But in terms of coverage, what we have is the main continent of North America is covered pretty well. I did shade in sort of the islands north of Canada, but I don't think they're really covered. Anyway, but Canada is, for the most part, obviously in the main region of Canada, sort of lower. But yeah, we got the US, Mexico. Now Guatemala is covered, and that comes up fairly frequently. So make sure you know Guatemala there. We also have the Dominican Republic, which is covered. Doesn't come up too much, but it does have Street View. And then going to South America, everywhere is covered except for several countries. We don't have Paraguay. We don't have Venezuela. I think there might be a tiny bit in Venezuela, but not enough for me to actually shade that in. We don't have Suriname, and we don't have Guyana. I may have did that the wrong way. We also don't have French Guiana. That's going to do it for the Americas. So keep this map handy. Try and memorize it if you're new. Even if you've been playing for a while, you may not know all this info. So feel free to have that handy. So moving on to Europe, we have basically every country. The only countries that drive on the left are, as I said, the United Kingdom and Ireland. But we also have Malta. Malta actually comes up quite a bit, and it's fairly distinguishable. I will cover that in another video. But yeah, Malta's just south of Italy, in case you think you want to guess Malta. But they drive on the left. So everywhere else in Europe drives on the right, and there's only a couple of countries missing. So everywhere's covered except for Belarus, Moldova, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that. Let's just call it Bosnia. But everywhere else does have coverage, so you got to be aware that Europe's hard in that these Eastern countries sort of speak fairly similar. You got some countries that use the Cyrillic script and obviously Greek. They're a little bit easier, but a lot of them are sort of fairly similar. So you don't really get much. They all drive on the right, so you don't really get much. But here's where we start to get a bit interesting, and this starts to help out. So what we have in Asia, we have Russia driving on the right. We also have Mongolia and Kyrgyzstan, which are covered. All these countries, as you can see, it's pretty sparse. We also have South Korea driving on the right, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and the Philippines, and Taiwan is also covered. So keep that in mind. While the other countries in Asia that are covered, we have Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, that is Thailand. Then we also have Bangladesh. I've shaded India, even though India doesn't have much coverage. I'm noticing it come up a fairly decent amount that I will shade it in for you. We also have Bhutan, which is pretty regular, Sri Lanka. Also covered, and this is important to note down, is that in terms of the Middle East, you see it's very sparse. We do have Kyrgyzstan, which is former Soviets. So that's kind of easy to spot due to the Cyrillic, as well as Mongolia that uses Cyrillic as well. But in terms of the Middle East, we do have Israel, and we have Jordan and the United Arab Emirates. So keep that in mind. They all drive on the right, but keep that in mind. If you see Arabic, it's going to be one of these, or it could also be Tunisia, which is in Africa. So now we'll move on to the last continent before we wrap up the video, Africa. So Africa is very sparse. There's a meta tip that I'll cover in another video to help you with Africa a little bit more. But what we notice is that left-hand side we have sort of the southern portion of Africa, and the right-hand side in the northern portion for the countries that are covered. So we have South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, Botswana, Kenya, and Uganda. So these are the countries covered sort of in the south, and they drive on the left. So if you're playing Battle Royale, you've got 3 guesses. If you notice it's Africa, which you sort of can based on the people, to get that correct. And you'll notice other people guess, so getting the flags down is also really good. Then in terms of the northern part, we have Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, and Tunisia. So these ones drive on the right, so there's only a couple of options if you notice you're in Africa for those ones. A meta tip will help with Ghana. And Senegal speaks French, and Tunisia speaks, I think, French and Arabic. So that's kind of easy. So typically if you see Arabic, you probably think Jordan or UAE. UAE is pretty recognizable. And then you'd go Tunisia. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the video for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this map helps you out in your quest to becoming a GeoGuessr Pro. I know, or just getting better at GeoGuessr in general. I know I certainly am trying to get better. And I'm definitely getting there. It's a slow process, but you'll get there. And it particularly helps even if you're playing and you have this up, I don't see a problem with that. Most people have it memorized anyway. So why not just put this on your second monitor, get this up on your phone, and have that sitting there in case. Also, if you want, you could print it out. You could label countries that you're not sure of. I know sort of where every country is with I'm a little bit iffy around Europe. Other than that, I can obviously name them, but I would recommend being able to do that as well. Anyway, that's going to wrap up my first ever tips video. I hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to leave a like and a comment. That really does help out a lot. Makes me know that I'm doing a good job. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one.